Now, the 13th of September every year is commemorated in all African countries as African Day for Technology and Intellectual Property. This is in compliance with the resolution made by the then Organization of African Unity, OAU, now African Union Council of Ministers, and Assembly of Heads of State and Government, which in July 1999 at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, enjoined all African nations to use a day to arouse creative and innovative spirit of Africans to facilitate the acceleration of technological development in the country. Details with Justin Dem-Onyi.
This declaration again highlights the problem of low utilization of science and technology in Africa and is similar to the Khartoum Declaration of March 1988, which also emphasized that greater emphasis should be placed on improvements in the teaching of science and technology in African countries and more effective mechanisms to be evolved for the dissemination of the results of scientific and technological research for purposes of application and development. The National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, Notap, an agency under the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, has over the years been commemorating the African Day for Technology and Intellectual Property Rights on behalf of the Nigerian government through organizing exhibition of inventions and innovations by secondary and vocational schools within and around the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Young inventors and innovators, as well as the Association of Nigerian Inventors, have been engaged at various times in realization of the objectives of the day. As this day has been commemorated in all African countries this year, Notap has decided, in line with the Global and Presidential Committee on COVID-19 protocols, to shelve the event to also prepare adequately for 2021 commemoration. The agency has therefore recommended that all Nigerian inventors and innovators be aware of this day and be prepared for the event in subsequent years.
Director General of National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, Notap, Danazumi Mohammed Ibrahim, is in our studio to speak on Africa Day of Technology and Intellectual Property Rights and what his office is doing to boost indigenous technology for national development. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Nigerians.
It's good to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Technological development is very much essential to component of building productive capacity. How would you assess Africa's status in this regard?
Well, thank you very much. We are still far away. Actually, African nations are, in my own opinion, behind the developed world. Why I say this is because we register technology transfer agreement in our own office, and we see the quantum amount of technologies coming into Nigeria, and I think it's the same way in African countries. As a developing nations, we can't just fold our arms and continue business as usual. Over 90% of the technologies that power our own economy are imported. Certainly, no nation that wants to aspire and become economically independent will fold its arms and allow its business as usual. And I think it's a realization of this objective that the African Union decided to set aside this day to commemorate African Day for Technology and Intellectual Property, because it's technologies that demarcates between developed and developing nations.
All right, so apparently economic catch-up requires that a large existing technological gaps be closed through knowledge acquisition. Is Africa actually working towards that?
Yes, Africa is trying. You see, for you to develop technologically, you have to invest heavily in terms of the human resources as well as facilities for research and development. It's research and development that translates into technology. So if the country is vibrant in terms of research and development, it has every chance to become an industrialized nation. But if you look at the budget for research and development in most African countries, is far, far, far below expectations. So what is important in my opinion is we need to improve on funding of research and development. We need to improve on facilities for research and development so that Nigerians, we have competent Nigerians, very intelligent Nigerians. What they need is an environment that they would be able to undertake credible research and development that could bring out results that has the potential to translate into product and services. And unless we do that, Nigeria and other African countries, in my own opinion, we may continue to remain a consumer nation for foreign technologies, which will not sustain development.
Tell us, what has the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, through your agency, been doing to boost indigenous technology for national development?
Yes, actually, after the resolution, as far back as 2006, the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, went into partnership with World Intellectual Property Organization to establish what we call intellectual property and technology transfer offices in the universities, in the polytechnics, in research establishments. The idea is to change the weak culture of intellectual property in the Nigerian university. Why I say the weak culture? Any Nigerian or Africans in general, as soon as they hit any innovation or invention, they are in a hurry to tell the world through publications, through seminars, through exhibitions what they have done without protecting the intellectual assets. So the most important thing is, yes, we don't mean you don't publish, but before you publish, protect that intellectual asset so that in the long run, because commercialization of any research and development effort is a private sector affair, and no any private sector would put his own or her own money in any venture that is not fully protected. That is first. So with the sensitization exercise now, request for Notap, request for patenting has been increasingly coming to Notap. As far as we are concerned, in 2019, 65% of the patent certificates released by the patent registry all came through Notap. Notap is also assisting the universities, the established research establishments to partner with industry so that they develop capacities of their lecturers, of their researchers, and also provide them with some kind of facilities, improve the facilities of research and development. The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is also, in addition to that, is also providing grant for researchers or for innovators to move their research and development invention to the next one through the Presidential Standing Committee on Invention and Innovation. The scenario is gradually changed, but we just need to sustain this sensitization exercise, to sustain our efforts towards changing the weak culture of IP in the system. While
Mr. Ibrahim,
yes, please.
Can you quickly tell us what you have to tell Nigerians when it comes to intellectual property capacity building and technology transfer?
Yes, as I was saying, more than 90% of the technologies that power most African countries are imported. And no any nation that aspires to become economically independent will fold its arms and continue business as usual. Where are those sources of technologies? Our universities, our research establishments, our polytechnics are the sources of the research, are the sources of technologies. So unless now we improve on our research and development funding, which is not entirely a Notap affair, but it's an affair that concerns every one of us. If we improve on funding research and development, results coming up could translate into product and services. And even if we have the prototype, unless we move those prototypes to the level of commercialization, it might not work for the development of the nation.
All right, thank you very much, Director General of National Office for Technology Acquisition Promotion, Mr. Danazumi Mohammed Ibrahim. Many thanks for your expertise there.
Thank you very much.